What's up guys, Brandy Car here, back with another video. Welcome to Rating Every 2025 Darlington Throwback. Part 1, Trucks and Xfinity. For the first time ever, I'm rating the Truck and Xfinity throwbacks together in one video. And the reason for that is there were only 5 throwbacks run in the Truck Series race at Darlington. And that is a direct consequence of the truck race being moved from the throwback weekend to the Southern 500 weekend, which is a real shame. But on the bright side, at least, it can make us appreciate the 5 throwbacks more. So, without further ado, let's get into it. To start off, we have Tyler Ankram's throwback to Tommy Ellis. We're starting off this video with a really great looking throwback. They did a really good job translating this paint scheme from a 1986 Cup body to a 2025 stock truck. But if there's any nitpicks I want to make, it's that the B post on the truck is red when on the original scheme it was blue, and it appears that the deck lid on the car was also blue, while the bed of the truck retains the red and white stripes. So a couple inaccuracies on this throwback, but it's no big deal. It's still really good looking. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have Daniel Hemrick's throwback to Buddy Baker's Gray Ghost. This is like, what, the 5th time someone's done a throwback to this? It's definitely starting to get overdone, but I'd be lying if I said this isn't a fantastic looking throwback. They really did their homework with this one. As much as I want to nag them for this throwback that's already been done before, I have to respect the care and attention to detail that they put into this, especially the retro Napa logo. Easily one of the best throwbacks of the year. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Mason Maggio's throwback to Michael Waltrip's old Aaron's Dream Machine. Now, the actual throwback that ran in the race differs slightly from the render. The render showcases the number 22 with a couple stars here and there on the throwback, while the one that ran is numbered 33, features less stars, and the Densey logo on the hood is way smaller. I have no idea what happened there, but in my opinion, the actual throwback that ran is a slight downgrade from the render. I think what would have been ideal is if they ran this with the number 33 slanted forward and with the bigger Densey logo on the hood and with all the stars that were present on the render. I feel like that would have been a better throwback to run, but instead we got this. It still looks good, but it could have been better. 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Carter Mosak's throwback to Kenny Wallace. I want you to take a good look at the original paint scheme that this is supposed to be throwing back to, and then do the same for the throwback. Do you see the problem? There is barely any lightning on the throwback. The original paint scheme has lightning pretty much on the entire car, and then the throwback just has lightning around the cab of the truck and near the rear bumper. What happened here? Did they give up midway through? My best guess is that they just got lazy and couldn't be bothered to finish the throwback, because there is no way they rolled this out in good faith. 4 out of 10. Next up, we have Jack Wood's throwback to Dick Trickle. This appears to be a combination throwback of 2 of his old late models, which wouldn't be the first time a combination throwback has been run, and I'm inclined to believe it won't be the last either. They really did this one justice, and it's a great way to honor Dick Trickle. 8 out of 10. And those were all 5 of the throwbacks run in the Darlington truck race. A disappointing turnout, to say the least. Shout out to McAnally Hilgeman Racing for keeping the spirit of Throwback Weekend alive in the truck series, as 4 of the 5 throwbacks run in that race were run by them. Hopefully next year, more teams will participate. Shifting gears now to the Xfinity series, starting with Carson Kvapil's throwback to Jamie McMurray. This was a pleasant surprise. For those of you who don't know, Jamie McMurray was my first favorite driver when I first got into NASCAR, and seeing him get his flowers is really cathartic. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Obviously, it's the number. I understand that Dale Jr. only cared about getting the rights to the DEI 8 because that's the number he drove, but he really should have at least tried to get the rights to the DEI 1 as well, because imagine how great this throwback would have looked with the DEI 1. It would have been the perfect throwback. But I and my love for Jamie McMurray will not let a number take away from how great this throwback is. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Parker Retzlaff's throwback to Ernie Irvan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time that anyone has done a throwback to the Morgan McClure Motorsports 4. And they did a really good job with it. What I love most is how they stylized the Dr. Teal's and Visual Pack Company's logos to look like the Kodak film logo on the original scheme. Not much else for me to say here other than 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Nick Leitz's throwback to Scott Riggs's Valvoline car from 2006. SS Greenlight Racing ran a poll on their Twitter letting fans decide which throwback Nick Leitz would run in the throwback race at Darlington, and the options were Dale Sr.'s Atlanta Olympics car, Jimmy Johnson's Power of Pride car, Scott Riggs's Primary from 2006, and Dale Jr.'s 4th of July car from 2007. And Scott Riggs's car is the one that won, and I'm glad it did because it was the best looking throwback of the bunch. What I love about this throwback is that Liberty Brew not only stylized their logo to look like the Valvoline logo, but the Stanley logo as well. It's little details like that that makes me love Throwback Weekend so much. 10 out of 10. Next up is Justin Allgaier's throwback to Nobody. It's a Brandt corporate throwback. If you've been a viewer of the channel long enough, you'll know that I am not a fan of corporate throwbacks, unless the paint scheme looks good. Unfortunately, this throwback is not one of those. 5 out of 10. Next up, we have Sammy Smith's throwback to the Chance 2 Motorsports 3 Doors Down car from 2003. This throwback has a double meaning, as it is meant to be a tribute to lifetime members of TMC. I do like how they mimicked the 3 Doors Down logo with the 8 TMC employee owned. That's very clever of them. And obviously the cherry on top of this throwback is the DEI 8. Dale Jr. acquiring the rights to the DEI 8 could possibly be the best thing to happen to Junior Motorsports ever, because it's opened the realm of possibilities in terms of throwbacks. Just imagine the throwbacks that they'll be running now that they have the rights to the DEI 8. I can't wait for next year. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Daniel Dye's throwback to Adam Petty. Not the first time this throwback has been done. Lawless Allen did it a couple years ago, and in my opinion, his throwback is superior. But that's not to say that Daniel Dye's is bad or anything. I'm just not impressed since I've seen it before and done better. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have Josh Williams' throwback to Mark Martin's U.S. Army car from 2007. Interesting take on this paint scheme. It's blue instead of yellow, which I get it's because Alloy's main color is blue, but if you ask me, sponsors really shouldn't be afraid to change their colors for one race. It's not like it's going to damage their brand or anything, but that's neither here nor there, just a minor nitpick. Another thing I noticed is the white stripes on the side of the car. They're missing the bar to form the E, and we all know why they can't do that. Still a good throwback overall, though. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have Garrett Smithley's throwback to Terry Labonte. This is as close to a perfect throwback as you can get. The only aspect of this throwback that does not match the original scheme is obviously the sponsor, but that is not the point of Throwback Weekend. It's all about the paint scheme, and they really did a great job at staying faithful to the original paint scheme. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have William Sawalich's throwback to Kyle Busch's NOS Energy paint scheme from 2016, honoring his 10-win season that he had that year in the Xfinity series. I feel like this is a bit too recent of a car to do a throwback to, but they did a pretty good job with it, so I can't really complain too much. One thing I will say, though, is that the red versus the orange is a bit jarring. So, yeah. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have Christopher Bell's throwback to Rick Ferkel. It is incredibly difficult to translate a sprint car livery onto a stock car. I'm sure they tried their best to make it work, but the placement of the orange stripe on the front of the car instead of on the back is confusing to me, but I'll let it slide since it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It's just a stripe. 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Brandon Jones's throwback to Matt Kenseth. This is the car that won the race, and I hate to be that guy, but where's the orange? We all know that Matt Kenseth's old Dollar General paint scheme had an orange rear bumper where the Home Depot logo was. That's absent on the throwback. They didn't go all the way with it. This throwback is really great, but the absence of the orange rear bumper is what's going to keep it from a perfect score. 9 out of 10. Next up, we have Harrison Burton's throwback to his father, Jeff Burton. The attention to detail on this one is outstanding. The two biggest things that stood out to me are on the hood, the Dex logo is stylized to look like the Citgo logo, and the word imaging is stylized to look like the SKF logo. And then on the side of the car, the Dex part of Dex imaging has the black stripes on it, like the Super in Superguard on Jeff Burton's paint scheme. Not the first time Harrison Burton has done a throwback to his dad, and I imagine it won't be the last. This is hands down the best one he's run. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Dean Thompson's throwback to Jamie McMurray's Irwin Tools paint scheme from 2009. I was not expecting there to be two Jamie McMurray throwbacks in this race, and I was pleasantly surprised. I love how in the absence of a Crown Royal sponsorship, they have a literal crown on the quarter panel. And Thompson Pipe Group didn't need to do this, but they added a saw on the side of the car, like there was on Jamie McMurray's paint scheme. It's little details like that that really make this throwback for me. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Jeb Burton's throwback to his father, Ward Burton. Harrison Burton isn't alone. The other Burton cousin is also doing a throwback to his father. The colors on this render are misleading. This is what the throwback actually looked like on track. It actually did look like the original car that Ward drove. One thing I do want to ask is, why didn't AJ Transport stylize their logo to look like the Hardee's logo? Is it brand guidelines? I'm willing to bet it's brand guidelines. But that doesn't really take away from the throwback. It's still pretty good looking and a good way for Jeb to honor the family legacy. 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Kyle Sieg's throwback to Ricky Rudd's Texaco Haviland paint scheme from 2002. Death, Taxes, and Kyle Sieg running a Texaco Haviland throwback. Always with Night Owl as the sponsor too. They always knock it out of the ballpark with their throwbacks. And I hope they keep the trend up because add this to the list of the great Texaco Haviland throwbacks done by Night Owl. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Greg Van Alst's throwback to Ryan Reed. This was a pleasant surprise, a Ryan Reed throwback. Though, like I said before with Sawalich's Kyle Busch throwback, I feel this one's a tad bit too recent to be throwing back to. But again, I can't complain too much because they executed it really well. The 35 in the Roush font looks really cool. And I love how CB Fabricating stylized their logo to look like the Lilly Diabetes logo. Great to see Ryan Reed get his flowers in the form of this throwback. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Ryan Sieg's throwback to Dale Jarrett. Again, the attention to detail is phenomenal. The 39 in the Yates font just looks right. And the SciAps logo stylized to look like the Ford Credit logo on the side of the car, and then also the Quality Care Service on the hood. How many 10s are we going to get? Next up, we have Sam Mayer's throwback to Kurt Busch's Daytona 500 winning car. 3 things here. 1, I do love how they use the Audibel logo to mimic the Monster Energy logo. That's very clever. 2, what is that green blob on the hood supposed to be? That was not on the original paint scheme. I had to double check to make sure it wasn't a piece of debris that got stuck on the car. It's not. It's actually part of the paint scheme. Why did they put that on there? Is it some sort of trickery to get past tech inspection? I don't know. 3, imagine how great this throwback would have been if they went back to the old SHR 41 font. My biggest nitpick of this throwback is that green blob on the hood. I have no idea why they put that on there. It honestly ruins the throwback for me. 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Anthony Alfredo's throwback to Sterling Marlin. Apparently, this also serves as a Jamie McMurray throwback, since it's running the 42, which Jamie McMurray drove during his first stint with Chip Ganassi Racing. So, a third Jamie McMurray throwback in this race. Although, if you ask me, it's more of a Sterling Marlin throwback than it is a Jamie McMurray throwback. This isn't the first time someone's done a throwback to Sterling Marlin's Coors Light car, and if you ask me, Landon Castle's version will always be the best one. But this throwback is really great in its own right as well, and it gets bonus points for me for doubling as a Jamie McMurray throwback. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Brennan Poole's throwback to Jeff Gordon's Bugs Bunny car from 2001. When this throwback actually ran on track, it was dark green instead of purple, like on the render. I think that may have to do with the fact that it's a backup car. I'm not too sure, but for the rating, I'll be using the render instead of the throwback that ran on track. Alpha Prime Racing does not miss with their throwbacks, and I really like the improvisation that they did for this one. They couldn't get the rights to Bugs Bunny to put it on the car, so what do? They put a cartoon Brennan Poole on the car instead. At least I think that's supposed to be Brennan Poole. It looks like him. But yeah, they put him on the car to mimic Bugs Bunny's poses. And this is one of the many reasons why Alpha Prime Racing are the undisputed kings of Darlington throwbacks. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Mason Massey's throwback to Jimmy Spencer's Winston No Bull paint scheme. Like I said earlier, Alpha Prime Racing are the undisputed kings of Darlington throwbacks. I don't have a single nitpick to make about this throwback. They were faithful to the source material and they got it down to a T. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Nick Sanchez's throwback to Bobby Unser, the Jorgensen Eagle that won the 1975 Indianapolis 500. They did a really great job translating the livery from an open-wheeled car to a stock car. It's not a one-to-one recreation of the livery. They took some liberties with the roof and the quarter panel, but it's still a great-looking throwback all around. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have Jeremy Clements' throwback to Harry Gant's Skull Bandit from 1985. Not the first time Jeremy Clements has run a Harry Gant throwback, and I'm certain it won't be the last. It's clear that he has a passion for racing history because his throwbacks always look good. And you can add this one to the list. 7 out of 10. Next up, we have David Starr's throwback to nothing in particular. It's just a retro number. 1 out of 10. Next up, we have Leland Honeyman's throwback to Jeff Green's Nesquik paint scheme, the car that won the 2000 Busch Series Championship. The funniest part about this throwback is that they replaced the Nesquik bunny with a plug. You do what you can to stay faithful to the original paint scheme, especially when your sponsor has nothing to do with chocolate milk and couldn't be any more different. And yet, they made it work. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Ryan Ellis's throwback to himself and his old legend car. A perfect one-to-one recreation of his legend car with the checker pattern wheel well covers and even the opening into the engine compartment. It's even got the little handlebars or the handrails on the side. They did not need to include those, but they did it anyway. 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Connor Zillish's throwback to Buddy Baker's 1987 Crisco Oldsmobile. A perfect one-to-one recreation of the original paint scheme, complete with diagonal hood logo. And I love how above the logo, they have the website in the same spot where the no cholesterol would be on the original paint scheme. Sometimes it's just the little details like that that can make or break a throwback. 10 out of 10. And for our final throwback of part 1, we have Matt DiBenedetto's throwback to Jeff Burton's Exide Batteries paint scheme from the late 90s. Surprisingly, not the first time Matt DiBenedetto has run this throwback. And I'm going to be honest, I prefer this one over the 2018 throwback because the paint scheme is more accurate and it's got the correct number. Harrison Burton also ran this throwback in 2022, and that one was great as well. but I think out of all three of these, the 2025 one is my favorite. Mostly because of the number, but I mean, what can I say? It's a perfect one-to-one recreation of the original paint scheme, complete with the number. So, yeah, 10 out of 10. That concludes part 1 of rating every 2025 Darlington Throwback. Do you agree with my ratings? Why or why not? How would you rate these throwbacks? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more of me, be sure to follow all my socials like my Twitter, my Instagram, and join my Discord server. Links to all those are in the description down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for more NASCAR content. Like I said in the previous video, over 90% of the people that watch are not subscribed. What are you doing watching videos and not subscribing? If you like what you see, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. I promise you won't regret it. Thank you all so much for watching. That's it for me. Peace.